you're here. It's a damn man. I'm glad that you're here.
All right. Spellborn Bob, welcome to an all-new edition of Holding with Bobcat. We are kicking it old school this week with a special solo drink-along episode of the podcast. I was thinking, it's been quite a while since I've done a show by myself, backing up in a drink, chatting with everybody, and it's been almost a year since the last solo show. We have a lot of guests on the show. I love chatting with people. I love having a good time. Going back to some drinks, see what kind of antics we can get into. But sometimes it never fails that you just want to sit back here, crack open a drink, and just kind of shoot the shit with yourself and to all the loyal Bumming with Bobcat and bumwinebob.com followers and listeners out there. So now's the time to grab your drink because we have a special one on tap here. Now, I would say it's a secret drink, but the way podcasts work, if you clicked on the title of the podcast, you know what we're going to be drinking here today. But before we get into that, I am sipping on a Boxer Ice here. If you listened to last week's episode with Carlin and Pete from the Grocery Gamblers, we went through the Boxer Gauntlet as we cracked open the Boxer Lager, the Boxer Light, and the Boxer Ice. And I said at the end of that episode that each of us, we did our rankings, and Pete and Carlin both agreed on Boxer Lager number 1, Boxer Light number 2, Boxer Ice number 3. And at the time, I said I agreed with them and would go with those same rankings, but I did leave a little asterisk at the end and said that there was a chance that my rankings could change because I had 30 more of these of each variety sitting around the house. And now that I've had another week or so to kind of revisit it and try them out again, get my second thoughts, I do have to modify my Boxer rankings and change it to Boxer Ice number 2 and Boxer Light number 3. Because after drinking this ice a few more times, I'm like, this is not a bad beer. This is for a 5.5% ice beer. It's pretty good. Has more of a flavor, I think, than the Boxer Light does. So I'm going Boxer Lager number 1, Boxer Ice number 2, and Boxer Light number 3. So just a little follow-up to last week's edition of the podcast where we kicked off 2023 with the Boxer beer trifecta, and just wanted to kind of put a little bow on that episode because I was thinking this past week, I'm like, you know what? I got to change that ranking. It's not as cut and dry as it seemed at the time when you have it for the first time, and now having some extra time to go back and drink it again, I had to change it up and modify the rankings. But as I said, this week we are cracking open a special beverage that I've been sitting on here for quite a few months. And it was supposed to be cracked open the first time with our new friends over at the Decades of Disappointment podcast that are huge fans of Steel Reserve and their whole line of beverages. I had wanted to crack it open the first time with them on the show. Now, they cracked it open on their show previously, so they've had it before. And we're still going to work out a time that we can have those guys on the podcast here. I've been sitting on this for like 4 months almost, and it sits there in the fridge, and anybody at home who has a beer or a drink in their fridge that they've been waiting to drink, you know, you open that door, you see it there, it's staring at you every day, waiting to be drank. So I'm like, screw it. I got to do it now. I still have more of this in the fridge, so when the time comes, we can still crack open the beverage with them. But without any further ado, it is the new kid on the block. It is the Steel Reserve Alloy Series, the spiked orange soda, coming in at 8% alcohol by volume, 24 ounces, the brewed for extra gravity and exceptionally smooth flavor, the classic. It's a classic line. Everybody at this point in their lifetime knows about the Steel Reserve Alloy series. We've covered them many, many times before on the podcast. They're constantly changing flavor, swapping them out, adding new ones, seeing what's going to stick in their line, always trying to compete with that Four Loko. And as Four Loko announced a few weeks back, there's that new Sour Cosmic Warheads flavor of Four Loko that I am out there. I'm searching for it, trying to find that new Four Loko flavor. So once I do, you guys will hear about it here first, and we will crack it open on the podcast. And also on the search for the release of the Hard Mountain Dew to hopefully find its way to New Jersey or to California to our good buddies with the Grocery Gamblers so we can crack that open and give that a try. But what we have this week is the new kid on the block, the Steel Reserve Alloy Series, the Spiked Orange Soda. So we're not going to waste any more time. Been waiting this long. So they've been waiting so long here that the date on the bottom of the can is January 30th, 23. So we're cracking this open just in time to make sure we have the supreme freshness of it to have it from the start. So let's crack open this bad boy here. Oh, that smells just like an orange soda. That smells pretty good. So, all right, let's crack it open. Let's give it a shot. Cheers. Now, that is pretty damn good. That does taste just like an orange soda. Gives me the little vibes of the classic, the Henry's, I think it was. The Henry's hard sodas. They had an orange soda back in the day when those were the big thing. And it tastes very similar to that one. And this one, wow, I mean, it's pretty good. No burn, no bad aftertaste to it. Pretty solid taste, just like an orange soda with just that little hint of alcohol at the end of it that you get, just to let you know that, okay, it ain't your orange crush that you're drinking here today. It's got that little the spiked extra kick to it with the 8%, which is the good thing that the Steel Reserves always have, is coming in at the 8%. It's not putting you too far over the edge that the 12, 14% Four Lokos will get you. The Steel Reserves will get you a nice buzz, get you kind of cruising along that road, riding that fine line between buzz and blackout. So, how far do you want to take it to get yourself over the limit and see where you end up on any given night when you're cracking open a few of these bad boys. But all in all, pretty solid drink here. Tastes just like, I got to give the Steel Reserve a lot of credit on this one here, because it's funny, because a lot of these are interesting flavors that they have. Now, over the years, there's a whole bunch of them we have in the archives at bumwinebob.com. We've covered a lot of them here in the podcast archives on Bumming with Bobcat. And as of right now, on the Steel Reserve AlloySeries.com website, there are there's 6 flavors, I guess, that are still in production. That is the new kid here, the Spiked Orange Soda, the Spiked Strawberry Burst, the Spiked Blue Raz, Spiked Watermelon, Hard Pineapple, and the original flavor, the BLK berry, blackberry, which was the first one that came out when they originally released the Alloy series back in, I'm pretty sure it was like 2014, I think. I remember that's in the beginning days of bumwinebob.com. So it's kind of fitting that as we're getting close to celebrating 8 years of the podcast, with the first official episode happening on February 1st, 2015, and in February of 2014 was the day that bumwinebob.com hit the internet and changed the world forever. Why not celebrate that milestone with another Steel Reserve Alloy series to enjoy here on the podcast, to drink along. So hopefully since you saw the title at home beforehand, you know what we're drinking here today. Hopefully, you can get out there and find this too, because same thing with these Steel Reserve flavors. I don't know why they're not always readily available everywhere. I know by me, you can always find the blackberry. I see the blue raspberry a lot. Pineapple sometimes. But some of these other ones, like this one here, the spiked orange soda, I got this out in Pennsylvania back in October, I think, of last year. And the strawberry burst, I found there, I think, the previous year. Same thing with the watermelon. So they're not always available everywhere. And don't forget, they still do have also the tiki series of Steel Reserve. The ones that we had here on the podcast. The Island Punch and the Strawberry Daiquiri, which this past summer, I mixed up the Steel Reserve Island Punch with the Ritas Island Fusion Italian Ice, put it in a blender, mixed that bad boy up, and holy shit, that was a good concoction right there. That, if you can get your hands on that stuff, oh, definitely, that gets 2 thumbs up, the Bumwine Bob seal of approval when it comes to that Island Punch Rita's concoction. So, guys, if you're out there listening, Steel Reserve, I know you're with me. We got the hookup together. Let's make some magic happen when it comes to those concoctions. And it's always wondering what's going to be next for Steel Reserve when it comes to them and their line of beverages. Because after seeing a few days ago popping up on my memories, was cracking open the Steel Reserve Triple Export as the bumwinebob.com beer of the week. Now, sadly, as we all know, the Triple Export was discontinued a few years back when Molson Coors went through and axed out a whole bunch of the budget beers. But in the good news from the Molson Coors company is that if you haven't seen it already, I haven't seen them in person yet, but people are posting pictures on the interwebs, and that is that the glass is finally fucking back. And that is right, the glass 40 ounces have returned, and we've seen Steel Reserve, Old English, and other ones have been out there. I think some of the Beast people were showing up pictures of with the glass 40 ounces being back. That it's been a long time coming. We've been asking for it. We've been demanding them to get the glass back, and finally, in 2023. The glass 40 ounces have returned. No more plastic 42 ounce, cold when blue label on it. It is the classic 40 ounce glass bottles have returned. So, hey, I'll drink to that any day of the week. Ooh, yeah. And that is a really solid drink here. The Steel Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All the good stuff here when it comes to the... Like, everybody knows that a lot of these malt beverages are hit and miss. I cracked open the Neon Burst, the Grape Blowout, a few weeks ago for Tall Boy Thursday, and that one is pretty good when it comes to flavored malts. But when you compare it to its counterpart, the Neon Burst, the Punch Blast, which is the tropical punch... fruit punch flavored one, that one is not good. And comparing that to the first introduction I had with that was with Roadhouse, and when we cracked open and mixed up the MD 2020 Mad Mosas, and then pop in that Neon Burst on top of it, which was a terrible idea. I guess always going to leave that thought in my head. But other people out there have agreed and said that the Great Blowout of Neon Burst is definitely 100 times better than the Punch Blast one. But, hey, both of them are trailing behind this spiked orange soda, because this is really just like an orange soda with a little kick to it. Definitely a solid drink, very drinkable, goes down smooth, no burning sensation, no bad aftertaste. It's a really enjoyable drink to have here, And we'll see. Hopefully this one will stick around. I know Steel Reserve was really pushing this when it came to their branding recently. But we'll see. It's a good one. Definitely a solid choice to pick up if you see it in the cooler at your local store and you want to get on that Steel Reserve train for a night. Give it a shot. See what happens. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. And like I said, this is also kind of a throwback episode, kind of a pre-anniversary celebration of Bumming with Bobcat and the podcast as we get ready to celebrate 8 years of the show and how much it has changed since 2015 and the original Blog Talk Radio days of the podcast. Calling in, I mean, they're all out there in the archives now. As people always say when it comes to their old podcast episodes, some of them are tough to go back and listen to. Roadhouse will swear by him, and he says he goes through the archives all the time listening. But comparing the quality of those shows to now is like night and day. While I do not consider myself a technical audio master of any sort at this time, I do a lot more work now than I did then when it comes to publishing episodes of the podcast. I mean, not like some other ones out there. And I want to give a quick shout out to Joe and Quinn from the Our Vantage Point Retro Wrestling podcast, and also their new venture of Acid Washed Memories. Definitely, if you love nostalgia, retro wrestling, 80s, 90s, even a bit of the early 2000s, if you grew up in that time period, just like myself, you definitely got to check out those guys and their podcast. And if you have a few bucks to spare, check out their Patreon, where they have reviewed every pay-per-view, every WWF pay-per-view from WrestleMania 1 up until Royal Rumble 1996 that just came out for January. And it's a good time, a lot of fun. Those guys are great to listen to, a lot of fun. No drama, no pressure, just old school wrestling talk, nostalgia, TV themes, Alf, Full House, all the good stuff. Everything you love about the 80s and 90s you can get with Joe and Quinn over there at the Our Vantage Point Retro Wrestling Podcast and their new venture, Acid Wash Memories. But they did not pay me to plug that show, but I wanted to just kind of give them a shout out here on the podcast, as they're definitely one of my favorites. A lot of fun to listen to, always a good time with those guys, and the offer is always on the table for them to come on to the podcast here, have a few drinks. Joe likes to throw back a few cold ones as he's watching the retro wrestling and doing his show. So I've told him before, buddy, offers always on the table to come on Bumming with Bobcat and throw back a cold one or two. And your choice, guest choice, bring your favorite along, and I'll drink it with you. So cheers. Now, before we wrap things up this week, it's kind of a quick shot, kind of a in-between episode. We do have some new guests lined up for the future, just scheduling-wise, getting them on here. Got to give a shout-out to my good buddy Matt Slayer, who's the AVN Award-nominated adult podcast of the year. And he asked me, he said, "Hey man, why weren't you nominated?" And I said, "Well, fuck, I didn't know." So we'll see. The more porn stars we get on the show, the closer we get to being an AVN award-nominated podcast for Bone with Bobcat. So that's something to strive for in 2023 as we look to get to 2024. And don't forget, I still have on my list, which kind of had a monkey wrench in at the end of last year, and that was the LSD with BWB. Will hopefully make its way out this year, which was going to be the Twitter exclusive, super followers, subscribers. You don't need me to tell you what goes on over there in the Twitter world these days and how much of a mess it is there. That kind of caused me to pump the brakes on that one. So maybe at some point, well, I say maybe, but hopefully at some point this year, we get out there, we hit those liquor stores. Because if you know me, I love going out there, searching, seeing the people, seeing who you can deal with. I was out there a few weeks ago. You saw the picture on Instagram. I got a big malt liquor haul and a few other beers that will be coming their way to the podcast soon. The Axe Head malt liquor, a product of the Minhas brewing company that brings you the Boxer line of beers as well, and also the Jaguar high gravity lager. Two I've never had before. Always had my eye on them. Another shout out to our good buddy, Mr. Blood, Sweat, and Beers on Instagram for giving me the hookup and let me know where I could find those things and hitting the road and going into that store, which was quite an experience. Quite a few interesting characters out there, but I'm used to it. Anytime I'm out on the road, I got to hit up the stores, see what I can find, because you never know, as Roadhouse and myself have said many times over and over again, you got to get out there, you got to get searching, you can find that unicorn, you can find that diamond in the rough, just sitting out there, covered in dust on the bottom shelf or in the back of the cooler. It's been there for years. With the amount of alcohol that's in this shit, don't worry about it. If it has an expiration date, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Drink it up anyway. That's the bumwinebob.com way. I've got stuff down here that's been sitting here for close to 10 years at this point. Stuff that you got to save for a rainy day when you want to crack it open for a special occasion. You never know when it will come in handy. But definitely get out there, get searching. You want to find this Steel Reserve, Spiked Orange Soda. You want to find Thunderbird, Night Train, Cisco. People always ask me, they say, "Hey, where can I find this stuff?" And I say, I don't know. I know of a few stores that I can get stuff near me, but I don't have my finger on the pulse of everything out there in the country or even other countries. I've had people in the UK ask me, where can I get this stuff? Can you send me stuff? As much as I want to, and I want to help people out, you got to get out there, get searching, hit that bottom shelf. If you got to crawl on the floor, get a little dirty, you do what you got to do when it comes to the love of bum wine. And that's what we're here for, the love of the bottom shelf, bum wines, beers, 40s, malt liquor, the cheap stuff, the budget stuff that's cheap in price, but not in taste. That's the motto here at bumwinebob.com and on Bowing with Bobcat as we wrap up this episode. Just a little quick shot, a little drink along edition, just because I really wanted to crack open this Steel Reserve Spiked Orange Soda that has been staring at me for months. And when my buddies over at the Decades of Disappointment podcast finally line up a time to record, we'll crack open the other one, maybe throw in a few more Steel Reserve Alloy Series varieties. You never know what you're going to get here on Bone with Bobcat and on the website at bumwinebob.com. But hey, check it out. Tell your friends. Hit up the podcast. If you're a fan, leave a review, share it, tell your buddies. Get out there, hit the streets. Just start plastering things out there. Go to your local library. Let them know. Get on the computers there. Start streaming it. Any little bit helps. Tell your friends, get the word out there, because it's the best of the worst in cheap booze is what we do. And people
while they don't always love to admit it, you've heard them on the show before. There's always a story that goes along with it. And as long as there's a story, I'm here to help tell that story and to relay that message to everybody out there. So don't forget, Steel Reserve, Spiked Orange Soda. Technically, it could be the bumwinebob.com malt beverage of the week at some point. So check it out. Tell your friends. And until next time, cheers.